This afternoon, former Justice Department official Robert Driscoll said at this point there is not enough information to know.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Washington. An earthquake hitting the Hindu Kush mountain range in Afghanistan, strongly felt in northern Pakistan too. The U.S. Geological Survey putting the quake at a magnitude 5.2 in the epicenter in the Afghan mountain range at a depth of about 60 miles. Well, get ready. It's Game 4 tonight in Houston. World Series between the Houston Astros and the L.A. Dodgers. Let's go to live more in Houston with Fox's Jared Max.
Paul, one night after the Astros scored their first ever World Series win at home, Houston has an opportunity to go 3-1 in the best of 7 teams that have a 3-1 lead win it 84% of the time. The Stros beat the Dodgers 5-3 last night. 2 straight wins for Houston, now 2 wins away from celebrating a first ever World Series title. Game 4 tonight here at Minute Maid Park begins 8:20 Eastern Time. First pitch on Fox TV. Charlie Morton starts for Houston. Alex Wood goes for the Dodgers. On the secondary market, the get-in price cheapest ticket, $650 for standing room only. Astros first baseman Yuli Gurriel suspended the first 5 games of next season for a racially insensitive gesture he made toward the Dodgers pitcher Yu Darvish last night.
All right, Jared, thanks. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM News Talk 97.1 Weather Center forecast. In the wake of a cold front, skies will eventually clear tonight. It will be cold with a freeze, though, a low of 31 degrees. Cool tomorrow, but dry. Partial sunshine, an afternoon high of just 55. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low down to 42. Then even cooler on Monday. Mostly cloudy skies will only rise to a high of 52 degrees. I'm meteorologist Steve Travis for FM News Talk 97.1.
I'm Jim Evinger, CEO of Renew Sleep Solutions. Are you ready to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea without a big, bulky CPAP mask or painful surgery? The Renew Sleep System is the FDA-cleared, compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. Many have already met their deductible for the year, so there may be little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Call 314-279-9000. That's 314-279-9000. Or go to renewsleep.com.
Savings based on 2-year protection plan compared to T-Mobile premium device protection as of July 12, 2017. Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Terms and conditions apply.
Getting a new phone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So, protecting your phone is a smart idea. But phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $15 every month. Switch to Square Trade phone protection instead, for half the cost of insurance through your wireless carrier. And you could save $200 or more. It's like protecting 2 phones for the price of 1. Square Trade covers accidents like drops and spills with easy same-day repair options. Part of the Allstate family, we're trusted by over 30 million customers with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And switching to Square Trade is easy. How else can you save $200 in 10 minutes? So don't wait. Switch today.
Switch to Square Trade now and you can save over $200. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
For more than 20 years, Arrowhead Building Supplies customers in St. Peters have had to drive through our industrial park to visit us, often waiting behind big trucks or dealing with the park's railroad crossing. Well, our brand new Salt River Road entrance is now open for our customers, with direct access to our property. Our priority is to bring value to you, and once again, we've delivered. Our new entrance on Salt River Road is big, beautiful, and built just for you. Come try it out and see our showroom. Now also featuring the incredible new Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're going to be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. Simplysafe.com/radio.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
keeping you informed and up to date.
The uranium sale to Russia.
We've had these document requests, the FBI in particular, for a long time, and they've been stonewalling.
That's Watergate, modern age.
It's corruption, it's bribery.
Now they're playing hot potato.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
In the midst of the deadliest
national emergency
drug epidemic this country has ever seen.
FM News Talk 97.1.
The JFK files.
Younger, smarter.
They have to be released by law.
Better.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Some of the mainstream networks downplaying a big bombshell this week that the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid for that controversial Russian dossier about President Trump. Take a look at this. According to the Media Research Center, the major network's evening news coverage spent 6 minutes and 31 seconds covering the dossier news, but they spent 31 minutes and 10 seconds covering news accusing Don Jr. of meeting with Russians.
Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Hope you're enjoying this officially, for me at least, first fall Saturday of just chilly weather and kind of just perfect fallness. It makes you get in the mood for Halloween, doesn't it? So we're going to talk a little bit later in the show about Halloween and about, if you follow me on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. And I put stuff up during the week and chat with you there. I like to, go back and forth with you and hear what your thoughts are on a lot of these issues. But there is an article that came out earlier this week from Cosmopolitan. And all I'm going to give you right now is the headline because we're going to talk about it later. But it says, maybe don't dress your kid up as Moana this Halloween. If you're familiar with Moana, she is an islander girl from, her island is called Matanui or something like that. And the folks out there who are looking out for you are going to tell us not to let our little girls dress up as Moana. So we're going to talk about that later on in the show. Like I said, you can go to facebook.com/Annie Frey Show and you can check the article out right now. And if you're at the Facebook page, rate the show or rate whatever you think of the Annie Frey Show there. You can give us some stars and a comment, and that's very helpful for letting other people find us. So I'd appreciate it if you did that. It was Judge Jeanne Pirro that you heard there at the beginning of the segment talking about the news that we've heard come out in the last 24 hours regarding this potential indictment that exists that somebody might actually get arrested on Monday regarding the Mueller investigation. I find it very interesting that this week we find out that actually the DNC and Hillary Clinton were actually tied in with this Trump dossier, which was a very scandalous and salacious compilation of information regarding Donald Trump that was put together during the campaign, during the election. And a lot of people are suggesting that it is the basis of information for this Mueller investigation into Donald Trump, into whatever relationship that Russia had meddling in our election. Because remember, there is no possible way that the American people want Donald Trump to be president. There's no commonsensical person that exists that could vote for the scum and sleaze that is Donald Trump, right? I mean, certainly you didn't vote for Donald Trump. Certainly you are smarter than to go to the polling booth, to walk in and to see Hillary Clinton's name. Hillary, who has been running for president since she came out of the womb. Fortunately, her mother chose to keep her. But you have Hillary Clinton, who is destined to be the president of the United States. And then there's Donald Trump, who is somebody who Democrats hate people like Donald Trump. Democrats despise people like Donald Trump that would marginalize women to be just, Donald Trump would say, obviously, that women are just useful to him for his sexual desires. And anybody who is like that, you couldn't possibly be associated with, right? You couldn't possibly support or want the support from somebody like Donald Trump, who says the things that he says to Billy Bush in that tape that came out about grabbing women in inappropriate places and basically just treating them like his toy. You wouldn't possibly want to be associated with that as a voter, would you? Well, let's pivot for a second here. Let's look at who Hillary Clinton associates herself with. Let's look at who Hillary Clinton is willing to take money from. Harvey Weinstein, who is the scum and scourge of the earth in Hollywood, is one of the most powerful people that exists in the entertainment industry, who everybody knew his reputation and nobody wanted to say anything because why is that? Why does nobody speak up and say something about Harvey Weinstein? Because the people who knew about it got something from him. Or were afraid that if they actually spoke up and put their word out there and could potentially hinder his reputation for the rest of us out here, that they would lose access to something they felt that they needed. And those women were marginalized in that culture. There were women who spoke up against Harvey Weinstein. There were women who defined what kind of a person he was, who said the things that he did to them. There were women who spoke up. But for some reason, that industry didn't listen to those women. That's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy that there is a huge, massive industry that exists in this country that the rest of us folks rely on for entertainment, where these women could be treated a certain way and not listened to, when a man as horrendous as Harvey Weinstein wants to treat them like his possessions and abuse them for his own personal desires. That's a despicable man, isn't it? But his checks cashed every time. The money kept flowing and people kept their mouths shut. That is despicable. And somehow or another, we find ourselves back to the Donald Trump question, not necessarily in the way he treats women, but just the simple fact that there are so many people on the left right now who cannot believe that somebody like you or somebody like me could know what we know about Donald Trump and still go to the polls and vote for him. They can't accept that as reality. So they have to go through alternative measures in order to discredit him, in order to discredit the election. And this whole idea of Russian collusion, of the fact that Donald Trump somehow stole the election, arm in arm with Vladimir Putin, that makes more sense to these people than it does that you or I could support somebody who is the opposite of Hillary Clinton. I could go on for days about reasons why Hillary Clinton and I are hardly the same species. Hillary Clinton, if she were the president right now, we wouldn't know about any of this stuff that's coming out. Mueller wouldn't have to investigate anything, and we would have never found out that the Democrats were actively paying foreign people for opposition research on a candidate for the president of the United States. And there would be no pressure on Hillary Clinton as the president to delve into this, even if somebody had tipped it off.
I love when the media holds the powerful accountable. I hate when they selectively hold the powerful accountable. And we have seen for years they have played defense attorney for one side and prosecuting attorney for the other, and in Trump's case, judge, jury, and executioner. And you know, we can go into the innards of all these things with Russia and the dossier, uranium one. The bottom line is they're not even curious, they're not even inquisitive, they're not even investigating. When it comes to Trump, they'll hire 100 people to look into it, and it's a sheer problem at this point in time.
That was Gary Kaupbaum talking on the Fox Business Channel about this. We don't even need to get to the point where we're talking about the details, the information that is discovered, the facts of the case. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the sheer interest in investigating them. It's real interesting that Don Jr. met with the Russian lawyer of sorts. That meeting existed, and there's really nothing that has come out of that meeting that is heinously, obviously wrong. Should he have taken the meeting? Maybe, probably not. It's, you know, in political terms, it looks icky, and then you get distracted in trying to explain what happened, and you hope that the facts that get presented, if you didn't do anything wrong, are the ones that are accurate, that they truly are facts. What if it's a red herring? We know that the Democrats were pursuing this Russian relationship in an effort to try to take down Donald Trump. And we know that there are people who are actively pursuing, who are actively interested in discrediting the presidency, the validity of Donald Trump's presidency and his victory in this election. And we know that a lot of this basis, this idea, this concept of Donald Trump being involved with Russia inappropriately and scandalously, we know that a lot of it came from the dossier.
Well, I have to tell you, Washington Post is considered a fabulous source inside the Beltway, right? The left loves the Washington Post, and yet, you remember that in the Jetsons, that character that would say, does not compute, does not, you could see the journalists thinking like, this makes no sense to me, really, really? They can't get their arms around what's really going on here, that this information is bogus, that it comes from the Russians, and this dossier should be thrown out.
You think it should be thrown out? Do you agree with that? The fact that Donald Trump, you know, some of the details that are involved in this dossier, and it's the ones that we heard about. It's the ones that came out and really ended up being in the forefront. It's the you know, dripping with gossipy, nasty type of sexual behavior or whatever it is. That's the type of stuff that came out and really stuck. There's a massive amount of information in the dossier that is absolutely ridiculous. There might be some things in there that have some legitimacy in some context. But I remember hearing, I believe it was Mark Levin on this station talking about the crime that is going to be potentially indicted here is going to be in the process, not in the actual act that occurred. And what happens is when you put enough pressure like Mueller has been putting on folks like Don Jr. or Paul Manafort or anybody else, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, you can put enough pressure on somebody and then you can get them on a procedural crime of sorts or a procedural error, and then you can indict them on that. And then for most of the people, not you sitting at home listening to 97.1 because we keep you in touch and up to date throughout the week, but you can see if you're only paying attention and all you want to do is find out the reason why Donald Trump stole the election. You know he stole the election. The end you've already determined. You already know that he cannot possibly, in anybody's right mind, be the legitimate president of the United States. You just got to figure out how it got there. You already know what happened. You already know the end. You just need to find out how to justify the means. And then you decide, and then you hear that, you know, maybe Don Jr. gets indicted on Monday, and you're like, I knew it. And then it's because he didn't file a certain paper on time, or he didn't complete the paperwork, or he didn't disclose everything that he should have disclosed. And that is an error, and it is wrong, and it's worth recognizing But that's not necessarily collusion with Russia to steal an election. There's a huge, huge difference there. And when you have a leftist media, like we just heard Gary say there, when you have the leftist media in a feeding frenzy on anything that they can use to take down the president, to delegitimize his presidency, to prove that if you voted for Donald Trump, you are an idiot, and now you know why. If they can prove that by having an indictment on a procedural issue that occurred during the investigation, not actually from, the crime that they hope was actually committed, that'll be a win for them. And you'll have the leftist media that gets to be the prosecutor against Donald Trump and gets to act as the defense attorney for Hillary Clinton. And then once we've found some type of crime, no matter what it is, that he put his socks on the wrong feet in the morning, we get to find out that they get to be judge, jury, and executioner. And all the lemmings out there are going to go and get right in line and have the answer to what they knew in the first place. That nobody in their right mind would vote for Donald Trump. That nobody in their right mind would knowingly understand the depraved individual that Donald Trump is and still want to be associated with him. But those same people support a party that takes money dollar after dollar after dollar from some scum like Harvey Weinstein, who is using women and is doing everything to women that the original feminist movement wanted to squash. People who want to see somebody like Harvey Weinstein, who is one of the greatest funders of Planned Parenthood, they want to see him burn now because they got caught. But when his checks were cashing and his support was growing for the Democratic platform, nobody talked about his story. Nobody aired out his dirty laundry because it was inconvenient for him. And it's very convenient to air out Donald Trump's laundry, even when it isn't dirty. That's all you need to know. The media, the leftist media, the folks who are trying as hard as they can to prosecute Donald Trump in the media, they will not relent. And if you voted for Donald Trump, they already know what they think about you, and they just cannot wait to prove you wrong with any means. We're going to be back in just a minute, hoping to get Illinois State Rep Jeanne Ives on. Jeanne Ives is from Wheaton, Illinois, up north. There are some Republicans up north in the state of Illinois. She's been a fighter for the taxpayers. They exist in the state of Illinois. We need more of them. We're going to call her here in just a minute and talk to her. And you can tweet at me during the break, at Annie Frey Show. If you have any questions you'd like to ask the representative, and you can get them to me on Twitter, I'll try to get them in to the interview as well. We'll be back in just a minute at Annie Frey Show on Twitter. Stay tuned.
These are the days when anything goes. Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969.
I get a little bit closer to feeling fine.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797.
He calls Easter. She was born on a Tuesday.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Just wondering why I feel so all alone. Why I'm a stranger in my
Traffic reports at your fingertips.
Real-time traffic online.
Log on to 971talk.com for real-time traffic updates.
Brought to you by Frank Lita Acura with 0.9% financing going on now. Can't beat a Lita. Online at litaacura.com.
Hey everybody, this is Phil with the Range St. Louis West. All firearm and personal protection training is not created equal. It's not where you get training that matters most, it's who you are trained by. The Range St. Louis West has the most qualified trainers in the area, including active and prior law enforcement, military, first responders, professional shooters, and NRA instructors. Get trained by the true experts at the Range St. Louis in Baldwin. To see our list of training courses, visit us at therangestl.com. That's therangestl.com. Are you ready?
Life moves fast.
You just have to keep pace. Luckily for you, Jaguar St. Louis has just the thing. The new 2018 Jaguar F-Pace. This is not your ordinary SUV, offering versatility and luxury with unprecedented sport performance. It's a beast all its own. Lease it today for just $599 a month at Jaguar St. Louis of Plaza Motor Company in Creve Coeur and JaguarSt.Louis.com. $29.99 down, $599 lease for 39 months plus taxes and fees, 10,000 miles per year. Call 314-301-1700 for details.
I'm waking up my day. Let's get it started. Turn it up, turn it on. Keep the morning moving right along.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Perchborn.
And I'm Lisa Hart.
On behalf of our morning news team,
including Kevin Steincross, Margie Ellisor,
Randy Naughton, Kim Hudson,
and Glenn Zimmerman,
we want to thank you for watching Fox 2 News in the morning.
See you Monday.
This is Sean Vincent, president of Vincent Mortgage. Our family has over 27 years of experience in the mortgage business. We know that experience is critical, but a solid, trustworthy reputation for providing a stress-free and seamless process, all while treating our clients with courtesy and respect, is the Vincent Mortgage difference. Just listen to what one of our clients has to say.
I felt like I had no options anymore, and Vincent Mortgage gave me options. I actually called right before a holiday weekend. They immediately started working on the process. They were always available for any of my questions, even on the weekends. They literally saved me $700 a month. They really made the process easy and effortless for me. Best experience I have had.
That's what sets Vincent Mortgage apart from others. Why would you go anywhere else? Call us today at Vincent Mortgage, 314-839-9999, or chat with us online at vincentmortgage.com. Again, that's vincentmortgage.com, or 314-839-9999. NMLS 225095, 12801 Flushing Meadows Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63131.
An important message from Medicare.
It's Medicare open enrollment now through December 7th.
Time to go online and look at all your Medicare plan choices.
Like prescription drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans from private insurers.
Look for lower costs, more benefits. I'm open to that.
Every year, plans change. So can your health needs.
Open to something better? Start today. Use the tools at Medicare.gov.
Or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, folks, I guarantee you don't think about your bed sheets until you have really awesome, comfortable, luxurious bed sheets like those brought to you by Brooklinen. Here's the deal. Vicky and Rich Fulop, they went on a vacation. They stayed at a place, and they said, what up with these sheets? These are wonderful. Hey, hotel, can I buy them? They're like, no. They're like, well, you can. They're like $1,000. And they're like, no. Everybody had to have these wonderful sheets, and here's the deal. These sheets are not marked up 300% like the ones you're going to buy from the big guys. I want you to go to brooklinen.com, and this is an exclusive offer just for you. You get $20 off and free shipping when you use the promo code ALMOND at brooklinen.com. This is a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee, lifetime warranty. If you don't like it, you send them back. $20 off, free shipping. Use the promo code ALMOND at brooklinen.com. That's brooklinen.com. The promo code ALMOND.
Brian Kilmeade here. Join me Saturday on November 18th for a special morning event as we discuss my latest book, Andrew Jackson, The Miracle of New Orleans, The Battle That Shaped America's Destiny. The 97.1 Speaker Series event will be held at the J. Scheidegger Center at the campus of Lindenwood University. It's free to attend, but you can purchase VIP tickets that include a personal meet and greet with me, reserved seating, and a copy of my new book signed by me. Get all the details on my St. Louis visit at 971talk.com.
Presented by NTP Cybersecurity.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Frey Show.
This budget does not look out for small businessmen. This does not look out for the ordinary taxpayer. This budget is a gross overspending of people's hard-earned income, going to a bloated system that we have failed to reform. This budget does not look out for small businessmen. This does not look out for the ordinary taxpayer. This budget is a gross overspending of people's hard-earned income, going to a bloated system that we have failed to reform.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey. That was Jeanne Ives, state representative in Wheaton, Illinois, who is one of the ones that is supporting the taxpayer in the state of Illinois, who isn't interested in backing the special interests or the bloated government that we have that we cannot afford. And she joins us now here on the Annie Frey Show. Representative Ives, thanks so much for some time on a Saturday evening.
Yes, thank you for having me on. First time here.
Yeah, it is an honor for me to talk to you because I followed the budget process, the vote, and everything very closely here, and the folks at 97.1 have been following it as well. I mean, a lot of people who hear this radio station can see the arch from their Illinois property, which is taxed enormously, and we're paying attention to the people who are like you, who are talking about the taxpayer. Because if you're a taxpayer in the state of Illinois right now, it's like you don't matter, even though you're the one funding all of the stuff that the legislature has been churning out and for decades now. Is there any hope for the taxpayer in the state of Illinois in the future, in 2018 and beyond?
I see a lot of hope for the taxpayer in Illinois, and here's why. You had nearly a unanimous revolt up in Cook County, our most liberal county in the state of Illinois, over their soda tax.
Yeah.
Universal disapproval of an awful idea. And it didn't matter what political stripe you were up in Cook County, they have had enough.
Yeah.
And the same thing is now happening on their property taxes because they understand that there is a system that has been gained against them, especially in the poor and minority communities, on their property taxes up in Cook County. So I have a lot of hope that we are going to maybe have a taxpayer revolt and wake some people up in 2018.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to be part of that revolt.
I've been watching carefully, especially down here in the Metro East, the Democrats that are in the General Assembly, the ones that are in the House, the ones that are in the Senate. It's very important to look at the votes that they have cast, especially in the last few months here. One of the votes that I think is really important is to look at the votes and see who voted against the tax increase, but for the spending of the dollars that were actually gained in that tax increase. I'm not stupid, and there are taxpayers down here that aren't stupid. And you live kind of in the western shadow of Chicago, and us folks, us downstaters, which we always joke we're not really sure if downstate is anything other than just not Chicago. But us downstaters, we're getting really sick and tired of having to deal with the Madigan way, of having to just suck it up and go the way of the Chicago way. And you got people down here who Madigan spent a lot of money to help get elected, who voted against the tax increase because now they can say on their postcards that just overflow my mailbox, I voted against raising your taxes, because they did. But those votes don't actually, that individual vote doesn't actually speak the whole story. What do you see happening right now, specifically in the House where you serve, with Mike Madigan and his ability to control basically he obviously controls what votes get to even be taken, how things are processed in the House. Is there any hope in the House that some of these procedural, Madigan chokehold things will actually go by the wayside because he's not pro-taxpayer?
No, he's never been pro-taxpayer. He is pro-Mike Madigan, keep my political power. And that's the hard thing to convey to people because they want to think the best of their public servants. They want to believe that the state reps went down there with the best interests in mind. And so they can't understand why nothing gets done. And the truth is for Mike Madigan, it's not about policies. It is about politics. And so until you turn out the Democrats that will let Mike Madigan, you're going to continue to have this legislation passed. And by the way, we just passed a whole bunch of terrible bills for business just this week. And so the Democrats are doing the same thing. They're telling you that they're pro-business when they're in their hometown. and they're voting exactly the opposite in Springfield.
Yeah.
And that continues to this day because Mike Madigan controls them. So we need to really, you should ask if you have a Democrat state legislator down there,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that their votes with small business as rated by small business agencies is a failing grade. Their votes with the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, who rates our votes as to how favorable we are to business, are a failing grade. Every single Democrat has a failing grade when it comes to business votes, and they're walking into your Chamber of Commerce meetings, and they're saying they're pro-business, and they are not. And this is all, you can look it up online.
Yeah,
So
we'll do that. We'll link that up.
Understand what their voting record is, and not what they're saying.
So we're speaking with Jeanne Ives, who's the state representative in Illinois, the 42nd district out of Wheaton, Illinois, which is up north. And one of the things that I think is indicative of this shift right now in Illinois politics, everyone always talks about how blue the state of Illinois is, and I always say, go look at the election for governor in the last 2 elections. Go look at it and then find a map that shows it by county. Red versus blue. I said, that's a red state. The state is red. Chicago is as blue as they come, but the state is red. So the Illinois taxpayers showed up in 2014 to elect a Republican governor who had a turnaround agenda, who said that he was going to work on pension reform, who said he was going to fight for the Illinois taxpayer, who said he was going to get term limits to try to combat things like Mike Madigan. And we have zero pension reform. We have a passed Illinois budget that doesn't even really deal with the pension crisis that we have. We have a tax increase on the people, and I don't know the last time we've talked about term limits. To me, he's a Democrat. He ran on this idea of conservatism, fiscal conservatism. He kind of said he was going to stay out of the social issues. And of all the things that he has done, all these Democratic efforts that he has made, he signs a bill, HB 40, that uses Medicare dollars to pay for abortions. He has the opportunity to run again in a year from now. Why would any Republican in the state of Illinois support Governor Rauner for re-election?
Well, the truth is, many of us don't consider him a Republican anymore because no Republican governor, and actually no governor, regardless of party, has ever signed into legislation taxpayer-funded abortion on demand. And that's what he did when the state is bankrupt. I mean, nobody should start a new entitlement program, and it's open-ended, by the way, in a state that is bankrupt, where every taxpayer owes $50,000 in debt and accumulated unfunded liabilities. So that is what Bruce Rauner did. And he also lied and signed the bill after telling us that he would not sign, he would veto it. So, I hope people understand that, the CEO of the bankrupt corporation should probably be fired.
Mm-hmm.
And, venture capitalist Rauner would probably fire Governor Rauner at this point.
Yeah.
For a lack of integrity and poor performance.
So we have J.B. Pritzker, who's thrown his hat in the ring for the Democrats, and he basically, to me, is just like a carbon copy of what Rauner is. He's a Democrat, and he is worth $3.4 billion, and he wants to work for the little guy, is what he says. But when you look at his website, it talks all about investing and all the places where we need to basically use government to support people. It doesn't say much or anything that I have found, and I looked. It doesn't even say taxpayer. Do the Republicans in the state of Illinois have a better option than Governor Rauner to challenge somebody like J.B. Pritzker for governor?
Well, I think they do, and that's why I have started to circulate petitions to run for governor as a Republican in this state. And I hope I can get broad-based support. I already have broad-based support from around the state because Illinoisans deserve an honest choice who's going to actually focus on our problems and, be honest with the people about the depth of those problems and what we need to do to solve them. And so that's what I promised to the people of Illinois. And I have an entire team behind me. This is not just Jeanne Ives doing this. I have an entire team of smart, ethical people ready to take on our challenges in a fair way. And we're not going to use euphemisms like invest when all they're talking about is spending taxpayer dollars and take it out of people's pockets who are just barely scraping by, paying their property taxes and having to pay for their own retirement and not having a taxpayer-funded one. They talk in these euphemisms like it sounds really good, and it's just when they say that, watch out because they're getting ready to pick your pocket.
Yep. They don't have the money to spend because it's your money, and they don't even have the money they've already taken from you. Well, State Representative Jeanne Ives, that's exciting news. If people want to know more about you and if they want to support you in your effort to actually bring some real conservatism to the state of Illinois, what's the best way for them to do so?
Well, I do have pretty much just a splash page up for my website. It's ivesforillinois.com. And you can read a little bit about my history. You can listen to my speech opposing the tax increase that has over 2 million views. And you can read an op-ed, just get a taste of what I'm about, that I wrote for the Chicago Tribune that they published in January concerning the grand bargain. That'll give you an idea and a feel for who I am and what I stand for. And then you can find me on the web and Google my name. You'll see all sorts of good information, and you can always email me as well at JeanneIves@yahoo.com.
JeanneIves@yahoo.com. That's JEANNE Ives. And I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to watch you, and I want to support you and anybody who wants to try to bring some actual sensibility to the state of Illinois. It is so out of control, and I live across the river. I live in Illinois, I work in Missouri, and people tell me every day, why in the world are you still there? Why in the world do you still stay in the state of Illinois? And I say it gets harder to answer that question every single day. I'm hoping that somebody like you, if not you, can give me a little more confidence when I get asked that question in the future.
Do you have time for a quick story?
I have to take another call after this, but can I get you back on? You know what we're going to do? I'm going to get connected with you, and I want to get you on my podcast. I upload a podcast every day, and we can do a more long-form thing. Frank will get with you, and because I want to know more about you. I don't know enough about you yet to be like, this is our gal, but I'll tell you what, I know enough about Bruce Rauner to know he's not my guy. So, Jeanne Ives, thank you so much for some time on a Saturday. We'll be in contact.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you for having me, Annie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. We're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to talk to somebody else who's fighting for some common sense in the state of Illinois. He is representing Mark Janus in Janus versus Ask Me, and his name is Jacob Huebert. He's an attorney. He's going to talk to us on the other side of this break here to tell us about the court case he's involved in that challenges mandatory union dues. Stay tuned at Annie Frey Show on the break. We'll be back in just a second.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
The Dave Glover Show.
Weber Chevrolet presents DGS4 Saturday, November 4th at the Grandel Theater. Dave Glover's 4th live show will feature brand new stand-up material along with behind-the-scenes stories from the entire cast. Get tickets before they're gone at 971talk.com.
Contractors, meeting with your customers can be difficult. Making time to actually sit down and go over product and color selections is tough when your suppliers close by 5 p.m. every day. Only Arrowhead Building Supply has your solution. We've built mind-blowing, beautiful showrooms that are professional and convenient. We now have new store hours until 8 p.m. weekdays and noon on Saturdays. Arrowhead has also built private contractor presentation rooms for you. These feature large LED televisions and product video libraries so you can show your customers how products will look and what to expect. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Radio moves. Radio breathes. Radio never sleeps. And Next Radio keeps up. It goes where you go, so you never miss a beat. It's live, it's local, it's a connection. A shared experience, just you and your radio. And a couple million people, give or take. Next Radio keeps up. You thought that phone couldn't get any smarter? Well, it got simpler. It got leaner. It's got your back. And it'll keep you moving, winning, in the know. And it'll get you where you want to go. All in the palm of your hand. Next Radio. Live and local, wherever you go.
Listen to your favorite FM stations with the free Next Radio app. Live and local, wherever you go. Download the free Next Radio app today.
Hey, if you want granite, won't you want to go to the place where the designers and the builders go? That's right, Aphrodite Granite, and now there is still time. You can order by 12/4 and still get everything for your family gathering. Let's face it, everyone gathers around the kitchen, and how about an Aphrodite Granite kitchen? That's right, all-size kitchens starting only $19.95. They install 50 kitchens a week because their prices and quality are the absolute best. AphroditeGranite.com.
Hey, it's Tim Jones. Join me for the Tim Jones Show Sunday, 7 to 9 p.m. We'll have Tim's Top 3, Media Malpractice, the top newsmakers of the week, and your phone calls.
The Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Could love be the wake-up call? Could love be the wrecking ball?
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. If you heard Illinois State Rep Jeanne Ives in the segment before and you liked what you heard, you can go to ivesforillinois.com or you can go follow me on Twitter at Annie Frey Show, and I tweeted out the link, so it's right there, at Annie Frey Show on Twitter, and you can hear more about that. Now we are switching gears. We're going to talk to attorney Jacob Huebert. Thank you so much for giving us some time, Jacob, and enlightening on this pretty massive court case that we're looking at right now. Thanks for joining us.
Sure, happy to be here.
So I want you to kind of set the table briefly here about this court case that it has a lot of potential ramifications regarding business, but this case challenges mandatory union dues, seeking to enact right to work across the entire United States for government workers. We're talking about government workers here. Tell us a little bit about the case and what is at stake pending this ruling.
Well, in this case, we represent a child support specialist for the state of Illinois named Mark Janus. And he's in his job because he likes helping children when their parents have split up. He likes to make that process as smooth and painless as it can be for them. But he doesn't think he should have to be pay money to a union to be allowed to do it. He's not a member of a union, but nonetheless, the state takes a chunk out of every paycheck and gives it to a public sector union, AFSCME. And in this lawsuit, we're arguing that the state shouldn't be allowed to force him to pay money to AFSCME just to be able to do his job. And now we have the case at the U.S. Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to decide whether governments can do this, whether they can make people give money to a union just to be allowed to have a government job.
Yeah, and if most of us are familiar with unions, but some of us have no idea about unions, and there are a lot of public workers are in unions, and there are teachers who are in unions, and what ends up happening is the money comes out of your paycheck and it goes into the union, and then what does the union do with that money? Oftentimes they use it to lobby legislators or support legislators who they feel will enact the things that are in the best interest of them. But oftentimes, let's say you're a conservative person and you're married to a teacher, and that teacher is conservative, and you got money coming out of your paycheck, and it's going to elect people and support people who want to give Medicare dollars to abortion. And same instance with the people in the AFSCME union that you're dealing with. That's a pretty problematic thing because your money ends up going to fund something that you completely disagree with. And somebody like Mark Janus might say, you know what, I don't think that's right. I don't think I should have to do that. But yet the state, the worker has no say in whether or not that money comes out of their check, correct?
Right. You can opt out of paying for certain union political activities. If you don't pay full union dues, you pay an amount that's a little bit less called an agency fee. And supposedly that only covers the union's cost of bargaining on your behalf, so that you're just paying for the bargaining and not paying for any other union political activities. But really, it's not so simple, because when a union like AFSCME bargains with the state on behalf of workers, it advocates lots of things that are political. I mean, even just if it's telling the state how much it should pay workers, well, that's political. If you or I tell the government what it should pay its workers, that would be called lobbying, and everyone would recognize that it's political. Well, of course, it's still political when a union does it. And they talk about other things besides just how much workers get paid when they bargain with the state. They argue for other progressive policies. They argue for tax increases sometimes, as they have recently in Illinois. So no matter what, if you're being forced to give money to a public sector union like AFSCME, you're being forced to pay for union politics. And under the First Amendment, you should never be forced to pay for somebody else's politics.
Amen to that. We're speaking with Jacob Huebert, who is an attorney representing Mr. Janus in this Janus versus AFSCME trial that has gone all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. So when do we expect action on this? When do we expect a ruling? And after that ruling, let's say it goes your way, what could potentially happen in the wake, or what do you expect to have, like, what kind of political ramifications exist if you win this case?
Well, we'll definitely get a decision from the Supreme Court by the end of June, because that's when the court's term ends. And if the decision goes our way, that will mean that every government worker at every level, the state, local, school districts, everywhere, will be free to choose whether they're going to give any of their money to a union. No government worker in America will be forced to give money to a union anymore if we win in this case.
And is that essentially right to work?
For government workers, yes.
So this would allow people who are receiving paychecks from the taxpayer dollar to say, I am going to opt out of that union contribution. I don't support what they do. I don't want to pay for it. What's the ramification for the worker then if they decide to not pay into the union? Does the union still have an obligation to represent that worker in the same way it does a dues-paying member?
Well, yes, because the union is required by law to bargain on behalf of all workers. But the unions will say, "Oh, it's not fair. We're forced to represent everybody, but not everybody will have to pay." But the fact is, the unions lobbied to get that into the law. They want to speak for everybody. They don't want to let people bargain on their own behalf. And so unions will be still representing all workers if workers are unionized, but not all workers will be forced to pay for it. And if unions don't like that situation, well, then maybe we should change those laws so workers who don't want to be represented by a union won't have to be represented by a union anymore. Because some of them, like Mark Janus, would be happy to just speak on their own behalf and not have a union bargaining for them anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to continue to follow this case with you. You're with the Liberty Justice Center, and what's the best way for people to follow along with what you're doing and keep up with this case? You said the ruling could come as late as June. Could it come sooner?
It could theoretically, but the U.S. Supreme Court usually saves its biggest decisions for the end of its term. And no question, this is a big decision because it's going to affect millions of government workers across the country. If people want to know more about this case and about our work, they can check us out at libertyjusticecenter.org.
All right, Jacob Huebert, attorney representing Mark Janus and Janus versus AFSCME. We appreciate your time.
Sure, thank you.
Absolutely. There's so much stuff going on right now. I mean, that's a national story. That is a huge national ramification for anybody who is being paid by government dollars. That's gigantic. And, when you think about the money that you're making on a daily basis that you're using, these government workers, some of them make a lot of money, and a lot of people like to be like, oh, they're six-figure salaries and blah, blah, blah. Most teachers out there are not making six figures. They're making half that. Most teachers and most public workers are making a pretty, comfortable enough to do the things they need to do to live a middle-class lifestyle. But most people aren't making these massive amounts of money that a lot of times we like to pick off and use them. It's a poor example of the average government worker. But if you're out there and you're a government worker and you have a lot of political beliefs that are rooted in your faith, or if you have a reason to be very strongly pro-Second Amendment. When your dollars come out of your paycheck and go to the union and go from the union to lobby for a Democratic representative that's going to raise public wages, because that's what the argument is. That's obviously to your benefit if your pay gets raised, right? Well, that representative that you're going to elect, who's going to actively pursue doing that for you, also wants to ban a bunch of guns, wants to make a bunch of gun regulations, wants to fund abortions with Medicare dollars, wants to expand spending on helping illegal immigrants live comfortably in the state of Illinois or wherever it might be. And when you are forced to pay into that union and then they use those dollars to do more than just represent you in negotiations, and they use those dollars to lobby politicians, that isn't in your best interest. And it might be more important for you as a conservative public worker to keep innocent unborn babies from being murdered than to get a 2% raise. You know, who am I to judge somebody else's political priorities? But that would be mine. And if I were a publicly funded worker, if I were married to a publicly funded worker who had priorities that were different than what the union said, I would be like, you know what, I don't really want those dollars to go there. I want them to go fund some type of government procedure that's maybe more in my best interest as I see fit. More government trying to think and do for you because they know what's best. At Annie Frey Show on the Twitter on the break. Moana, I'm going to go off. I'm going to lose it. It's coming up next. Stay tuned. Be back in a minute.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. This is a great time to have the guys out. The holidays are coming up. If you take a really honest look at your carpets, it's the easiest thing in the world to walk on them all day, vacuum, maybe spread a little bit of that good smell and powder on them and say, I can make it through the holidays. Why make it through the holidays when you can have them out to do 3 big rooms starting at just $119? I know personally because they've been to my home. The people who show up are completely professional and presentable. They'll tell you as much or as little about the patented empowered water system as you want to know. So call Zero Res today for the Dave Glover special. That's 3 rooms, 05, starting at $119. Call for details, 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Yes, you could wait until next holidays, but just get it done now. ZeroResSTL.com.
Summer's slowly coming to an end, and once again, you've put off getting the repairs done to your home's basement. Don't wait any longer. The basement specialists at Midwest Basement Tech will give you 3 good reasons not to put off fixing that leaky, cracked basement. Reason number 1. The problem will only get worse and cost you more money in the long run. Number 2, call now and save 10% on all repairs. They also offer 12 months same as cash, or stretch it out with their long-term financing program. And reason number 3, Midwest Basement Tech is family-owned and operated and a great company to work with. They actually care about your home. They have a fully staffed office, and when you call, you can actually talk to a real person. Midwest Basement Tech offers only patented engineered products to create a healthy and strong basement, serving both sides of the river. Call the experts at Midwest Basement Tech now. 800-848-9805. That's 800-848-9805. Or visit their website, MidwestBasementTech.com.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location?
In the forest, near the side of the road.
No need for alarm, sir. The forest is where bears live.
But this was no ordinary bear.
No ordinary bear?
Yeah, 1 second, I'm having a smoke taking in the view. Next thing I know, I am face-to-face with Smokey Bear.
Let me guess, Smokey had a tip for you.
He did. He must have seen me toss my cigarette on the ground. He told me never to do that because it only takes 1 spark to start a wildfire.
He's a smart bear. Did you know that 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans? That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
That's what Smokey said. I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous, and you're not.
Good point.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can breathe.
KFTK FM, Florissant. KFTK AM East St. Louis. K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by Window World.
FM News Talk 97.1.
It's now a tropical storm. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. South Florida, the Florida Keys, parts of the Caribbean, all bracing for Tropical Storm Philippe. That storm strengthening today after starting the day as a tropical depression.
We could see rainfall totals anywhere between 6 to 10 inches across that entire area, and that can produce localized flooding, especially in urban areas. There will also be the threat of isolated tornadoes in the Florida Keys, portions of South Florida, mainly very early Sunday morning into late Sunday.
Senior hurricane specialist Stacy Stewart of the National Hurricane Center in Miami. Plenty of guessing now as to what happens next after charges have been filed on Friday in a probe of possible collusion between the president's campaign last year and Russia.
At least one person could be taken into custody as early as Monday in connection with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. No names or charges are spelled out in a Wall Street Journal report citing anonymous sources. The attorney for former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort tells Fox News that his legal team hasn't been informed of any indictment of his client. Manafort's been under investigation for his dealings in Ukraine several years ago. Retired General Michael Flynn is another possible target. He briefly served as national security advisor, but was fired over his conversations with a Russian ambassador to the U.S. Kathleen Maloney, Fox News.
Researchers and historians still poring over documents released this week regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Among those documents,
a memo from J. Edgar Hoover expressed frustration in the fact that the Dallas Police Department did not keep Lee Harvey Oswald alive long enough to get a confession.
Fox's Will Carr. Egypt launching a major shakeup of its security services, an apparent reaction to an ambush by militants outside Cairo a week ago that killed at least 16 troops. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM News Talk 97.1 Weather Center forecast. In the wake of a cold front, skies will eventually clear tonight. It will be cold with the freeze, though, a low of 31 degrees. Cool tomorrow, but dry. Partial sunshine, an afternoon high of just 55. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low down to 42. Then even cooler on Monday. Mostly cloudy skies will only rise to a high of 52 degrees. I'm meteorologist Steve Travis for FM News Talk 97.1.
I'm Jim Evinger, CEO of Renew Sleep Solutions. Are you ready to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea without a big, bulky CPAP mask or painful surgery? The Renew Sleep System from Renew Sleep Solutions is the FDA-cleared, compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. There's no mood-killing mask, no pain or downtime, just a better night's sleep for you and the loved one next to you. I've seen it change thousands of lives, and yours can be next. The Renew Sleep System is covered by most medical insurance, and right now is a great time to use your HSA or flexible spending account. Many have already met their deductible for the year, so there may be little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Feel great again, St. Louis. Learn more at renewsleep.com or call 314-279-9000. That's 314-279-9000 or go to renewsleep.com.
Savings based on 2-year protection plan compared to T-Mobile premium device protection as of July 12, 2017. Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Terms and conditions apply.
Getting a new phone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So, protecting your phone is a smart idea. But phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $15 every month. Switch to Square Trade phone protection instead, for half the cost of insurance through your wireless carrier. And you could save $200 or more. It's like protecting 2 phones for the price of 1. Square Trade covers accidents like drops and spills with easy same-day repair options. Part of the Allstate family, we're trusted by over 30 million customers with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And switching to Square Trade is easy. How else can you save $200 in 10 minutes? So don't wait. Switch today.
Switch to Square Trade now and you can save over $200. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
The Yuletide's almost here,
And one thing's become clear. Instead of your regular celebration, set sail for a magical destination. The Caribbean, France, or Alaska, what do you say? Grab your tickets and play. Enter your eligible Missouri lottery tickets for the Cruise into the Holidays promotion through January 9th at molottery.com or our new app for a chance to set sail this season.
For more than 20 years, Arrowhead Building Supplies customers in St. Peters have had to drive through our industrial park to visit us, often waiting behind big trucks or dealing with the park's railroad crossing. Well, our brand new Salt River Road entrance is now open for our customers, with direct access to our property. Our priority is to bring value to you, and once again, we've delivered. Our new entrance on Salt River Road is big, beautiful, and built just for you. Come try it out and see our showroom. Now also featuring the incredible new Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Trending on FM News Talk 97.1.
Giving over such a large percentage of that uranium.
It's disgraceful.
No credible evidence. The DNC, this Russian dossier.
Stay connected.
They do not want to get the real story of the Russian intrusion of our election.
We passed a budget one step closer to historic tax reform.
FM News Talk 97.1.
They drew a line in the sand.
Younger, smarter.
To fight the opioid crisis.
Better.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797.
We want to say thank you.
Thanks, Mike Madigan.
Thank you for raising Illinois taxes,
for blocking Rauner's reforms,
and helping create new jobs in Indiana,
in Wisconsin,
in Missouri.
Our economy's on fire.
We're growing good jobs.
And we're growing union jobs faster than Illinois.
So we owe you.
Huge.
Hoosiers love you, Mike Madigan.
Cheeseheads love you, Madigan.
Big fans here in Missouri. Big time. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Big fans in Missouri there for Mike Madigan, Illinois state troll that runs the General Assembly or the House in Springfield out of Chicago and is single-handedly working to destroy anything that is pro-taxpayer in our fine state, the land of Lincoln. Thanks for listening to the Annie Frey Show. If you want to weigh in on anything we're talking about so far, love to hear from you. Give us a call at 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797. I'd love to take your call. That was Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, and your fine Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, who can rappel from the ceiling at an event and just still look cool. Basically explaining, look at how Democratic principles and policies just absolutely destroy and kill jobs. Just the worst thing you could possibly have for business. And in Illinois, that was a Governor Rauner ad. In Illinois, they want to put all the blame on Mike Madigan. There's a lot of blame. He gets the lion's share of the blame. But right now, we have a governor who has done nothing that he said he would do. He's done a lot of things that he said he wouldn't do. And next year, he gets to run for re-election. That was a pro-Rauner ad. Anti-Madigan ad, but Madigan has nothing to do with the Rauner election. But it was interesting to me how they didn't really talk about Governor Rauner. They didn't really talk about how, enact Governor Rauner's policies and you will see success. Is there a way we can enact Eric Greitens' policies in the state of Illinois, or Scott Walker's, or Eric Holcomb's from Indiana? Can we try something else? What we're doing so far is working so incredibly well. In other news, in other catastrophically strange news, We have word now that there are charges that are actually going to be brought now in the Mueller investigation into Russian interference or collusion or whatever it is in the 2016 election. Richard Herman is a defense attorney. He was on CNN, and this is what he has to say about the instance.
Well, we don't know the caliber of the indictment, Fred. I mean, it's all speculation right now, and in the court of law, under the rules of evidence, speculation is an objection. They don't allow it, but we're going to take that road.
But there's something
you may not
there
have it
to
unsealed.
elicit at least one indictment.
Well, you may not see it unsealed on Monday. Indictments are sealed all the time, Fred, and I don't know how this leaked that it was an indictment that was sealed. The record shows sealed record, doesn't say sealed indictment. So it may be unsealed on Monday, it may be unsealed 6 months from now, it may not be Monday. Indictments are superseded all the time. They're added, they're amended. We don't know what's coming down here, Fred. It may not even come next week. And if it does come, so you want to look at the school of thought on this?
Yeah.
Well, the Manafort and the Flynn grand juries have been around the longest, so you would think maybe they're the ones that are going to come down, and not on collusion, but probably on, failure to register as a as a foreign agent. That's the cleanest one. But, I think there's been a lot of pressure on Mueller to bring something, and this looks like the easiest of them. But again, Fred, please, it may not come on Monday. It may come 6 months from now. Got to sit back on this, and it will not be dispositive, whatever it is. And an indictment is not a conviction. It's an allegation only.
So we have found out earlier this week, when it comes to the Russia story, it's getting really hard to keep our story straight, to keep our news update straight. So what we have here, originally, we have an accusation that really Donald Trump worked with Vladimir Putin in Russia in order to get elected. As I said in the first hour, if you missed it, go get it the podcast, 971talk.com/Annie, or iTunes, or Android users, go download Stitcher. It's an app. You can listen to all of my podcasts as well as the rest of the ones on the station, Allman, Mark Cox, and Glover, and Tim Jones from Sunday Night. But we talked in the earlier hour about this indictment or these charges that are coming down. And it's interesting that previously this week, the big story was this realization that all this time we've been talking about Donald Trump and how he colluded with Russia, and how now that he colluded with Russia, that's how he won the election. Just ask Hillary in her book, What Happened. She talks about how Russia is one of the reasons why she lost, which, of course, obviously none of the reason that she lost was because she was a terrible candidate, but obviously Russia. So we find out earlier this week, that, hold on a second here. This dossier that came up, that we discovered in large part after the election, but that was known out there by some people involved in the campaigns, we find out that it was actually funded and in immediate proximity of the DNC and of Hillary's campaign. Just for a single moment, imagine that there was proof, that there was actual proof and admission that the RNC did something to fund something, some Hillary opposition research, fabricated some information, put it in a dossier to try to slander Hillary Clinton so that she wouldn't win the election, and that Donald Trump's campaign knew about it. Just pause for a minute and think about what that would mean. And as a Trump supporter, or as a never Hillary person, you can think for a minute how that would just make you recoil a little bit. Oh, crap, it's true. That's what you'd be thinking. And you'd start to worry about the actual validity of Donald Trump's presidency, which is what they're set out to prove in the first place. They know where they need to get to, and they are looking for any avenue, boat, train, Amtrak, skateboard, foot, whatever it takes to get from point A to point B, where Donald Trump is proven to be an illegitimate president. They'll take any means necessary to get there. So we find out earlier this week that the Democrats were actively participating in discussions with foreign people, hired people, to try to create information or find information and disseminate information that would take down Donald Trump. Judge Jeanne Pirro was talking about this on a special edition of Hannity. This is what she had to say.
The conservative website, the Washington Free Beacon, funded the original Fusion GPS research into Donald Trump. According to York, Fusion GPS was also looking into other Republican presidential candidates. The Washington Free Beacon is responding to this explosive information with a statement confirming York's reporting and adding, quote, "The Free Beacon had no knowledge of or connection to the Steele dossier, did not pay for the dossier, and never had contact with, knowledge of, or provide payment for any work performed by Christopher Steele. Nor did we have any knowledge of the relationship between Fusion GPS and the Democratic National Committee, Perkins Coie, and the Clinton campaign."
So that was Judge Jeanne Pirro kind of setting the table for what we found out earlier this week. And remember, just late last night, we found out that Mueller is going to bring charges, and there could be an arrest on Monday. On Monday, there could be an indictment, there could be an arrest, we could find out what these charges are. But now on Friday evening, after a week of finding out about this nasty connection that the Democrats actually have with Russian interference, attempted interference in our election, on Friday, all of a sudden we get this information. Let's shift our focus back to Mueller. Let's shift our focus. Don't pay attention to these Democrats over here. That's not the story you need to be having. That's not the information you need to be focusing on. Get your focus back over here so that you can remember what the true objective is. We need to focus on Mueller. We need to focus on Donald Trump's correlation with Russia. We need to pay attention to what is important here. And remember, what is important is delegitimizing Donald Trump.
This week, we found out that the whole Russia part of the Trump dossier, the part alleging collusion with Russians, was funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. But we'd always known that earlier than that, several months earlier, starting in late 2015, a Republican group had funded opposition research, not about Russia, but opposition research into Donald Trump and some other candidates. And now, tonight, I reported who it was. It was the Washington Free Beacon, which is a conservative website kind of with attitude. It's a website that mixes journalism and activism, and some of its top staffers have history in journalism, activism, and politics. And they're the ones behind this original Oppo effort.
So Byron York is a Fox News contributor, and he also writes for the Washington Examiner. And he is the one who goes in and is reporting on this interaction that this Washington Free Beacon has with the origination of the Fusion GPS relationship, in order to find out that we have some interest in opposition research towards Donald Trump. Now, Republicans, or the Democratic, the leftist media want to constantly say, now don't forget that this was started by Republicans. It is not news to anybody who's paying attention to anything that there are Republicans that would be interested in bringing Donald Trump down. There are, in many cases, you could make the argument that Donald Trump's biggest foe is the establishment Republican who never wanted him there in the first place. So this isn't new. This isn't a new revelation or shock that there's actually turmoil in the Republican Party. Good grief, not at all. But we do find out here that the initial relationship with Fusion GPS before Christopher Steele, who's a British spy who had these relationships and where Russia ends up coming in. Before any of that happened, the Washington Free Beacon was involved in starting this. So Byron Rourke goes on to kind of explain what the Washington Free Beacon actually is.
Started in 2012 as a 501c4. There was a group called the Center for American Freedom that ran it. One of its board members was Bill Kristol, the former editor of the Weekly Standard, who's a very prominent Never Trump voice in our political debate today. And then 2014, it becomes a private organization, and we do know that Paul Singer, who is a New York hedge fund billionaire who's contributed to many conservative causes, is a major funder of the Washington Free Beacon today.
And Paul Singer, we can assume, was someone who was anti-Trump as well?
Very much so. Certainly in the Never Trump camp, later endorsed Marco Rubio, and actually wanted to somehow stop Trump at the convention. And, you know, there was a kind of a last-ditch effort to hopefully stop him at the convention, which didn't work. So yes, Mr. Singer was definitely very anti-Trump at the time this Oppo research was going on.
So you have evidence here that a Never Trump Republican faction was interested in stopping Donald Trump. And then it got handed over to the DNC and the Hillary camp to stop Donald Trump. Is it any surprise to any of us sitting here listening right now and watching what is coming out that these two parties were actively participating in trying to destroy Donald Trump's credibility? I am not surprised by it. But the important distinction here is that the Democrats are the one who took it to the next level, and they hired Christopher Steele, and it went into this inappropriate Russian relationship. But last night, you have the news media slobbering all over the fact that Mueller charges are coming. They're sealed. We know that they're there, but we don't know what they are, and we will find out on Monday. So the proverbial squirrel runs across the screen, and we all are supposed to follow it because our attention is now diverted away from that inconvenient fact that the Democrats were actually the ones who were involved in mishandling relationships with Russia. And the entire time they've been trying to use what they know or assumed about Russian inappropriate relationships with the United States, and they've been trying to peg them on the Republicans. And they haven't been able to find anything. They haven't been able to give anything substantial to the American people where we realize Donald Trump was doing some dirty work in the background, and I don't really think he gets to be actually should be the president. That hasn't happened. And there are people trying him in the court of public opinion everywhere you turn around, on the internet, in blogs, in social media, in the mainstream media. The politicians on the left and the ones who are on the right who are so anti-Donald Trump that it doesn't matter that they're both Republicans. They aren't in the same party. It's going to continue to get worse, and it's important that we keep our eye on the ball. Because the distraction is going to be out there, and it's going to continue. Every time something goes in the face of the Democrats, all of a sudden we have this other thing that just kind of bubbles up to the surface and tries to move our focus away from the real news. But you're smart enough to pay attention to what's important. You're smart enough to see that. And that's what they're afraid of. And to me, Donald Trump is about giving the people the truth. Even when it's unfiltered and ugly and not politically polished, Donald Trump has a way of just saying what he believes is. The truth, the facts, unfiltered, he gives it to you because he thinks you're a big boy. He thinks you're a big girl, and he thinks you can handle it. That's the difference between Donald Trump and these politicians. Stay tuned. I'm going to yell about Moana when we come back. I cannot believe this. The only time I ever reference Cosmo on this show, or even in my life, is when they say something so stupid that I have to point out how stupid it is and why I don't talk about it in the future. At Annie Frey Show on Twitter over the weekend, we are going to be having an Annie, Are You Okay segment coming up here in just a minute. Stay tuned. Take your phone calls on the other side of the break as well.
How fickle my heart and how woozy my eyes.
I struggle to find any truth in your lies. And now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die.
Log on to 971talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the All in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 971talk.com/Allman.
I'm waking up my day. Let's get it started. Turn it up, turn it on. Keep the morning moving right along.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Pertzborn.
And I'm Lisa Hart.
On behalf of our morning news team,
including Kevin Steincross, Margie Ellisor,
Randy Naughton, Kim Hudson,
and Glenn Zimmerman,
we want to thank you for watching Fox 2 News in the morning.
See you Monday.
This is Sean Vinson, president of Vinson Mortgage. Our family has over 27 years of experience in the mortgage business. We know that experience is critical, but a solid, trustworthy reputation for providing a stress-free and seamless process, all while treating our clients with courtesy and respect, is the Vinson Mortgage difference. Just listen to what one of our clients has to say.
I felt like I had no options anymore, and Vinson Mortgage gave me options. I actually called right before a holiday weekend. They immediately started working on the process. They were always available for any of my questions, even on the weekends. They literally saved me $700 a month. They really made the process easy and effortless for me. Best experience I have had.
That's what sets Vinson Mortgage apart from others. Why would you go anywhere else? Call us today at Vinson Mortgage, 314-839-9999, or chat with us online at vinsonmortgage.com. Again, that's vinsonmortgage.com, or 314-839-9999. NMLS 225095, 12801 Flushing Meadows Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63131.
Radio moves. Radio breathes. Radio never sleeps. And Next Radio keeps up. It goes where you go, so you never miss a beat. It's live, it's local, it's a connection. A shared experience, just you and your radio. And a couple million people, give or take. Next Radio keeps up. You thought that phone couldn't get any smarter? Well, it got simpler. It got leaner. It's got your back. And it'll keep you moving, winning, in the know. And it'll get you where you want to go. All in the palm of your hand. Next Radio, live and local, wherever you go.
Listen to your favorite FM stations with the free Next Radio app. Live and local, wherever you go. Download the free Next Radio app today.
These days, it's easy to have information overload. Sometimes I just want to kick back, hear my favorite music and the news that affects me. That's why I stay tuned into my local radio station. When important news happens in my part of town, I hear it from them first. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
Hey guys, Glover here for Rock and Jump in O'Fallon, Missouri. It is 30,000 square feet of clean, safe fun, including trampolines, dodgeball, rock climbing, basketball dunking, stunt bag jousting, a ninja course. This is the place for kids and teenagers to have birthday parties. There's free Wi-Fi, free lockers, comfortable seating, great pizza, drinks, snacks for adults and kids, even massage chairs. They strive for a Disney-like environment, a Chick-fil-A level of customer service. They really, truly try harder. PTO, schools, bands, sports teams, fundraisers. They have tweens and teens evenings on Fridays and neon Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So many things to love. Mention the DGS and get $25 off your birthday party package. Call 636-321-4024 or visit O'Fallon.rockandjump.com. That's ROCKIN, O'Fallon.rockandjump.com.
Brian Kilmeade here. Join me Saturday on November 18th for a special morning event as we discuss my latest book, Andrew Jackson, The Miracle of New Orleans, The Battle That Shaped America's Destiny. The 97.1 Speaker Series event will be held at the J. Scheidegger Center at the campus of Lindenwood University. It's free to attend, but you can purchase VIP tickets that include a personal meet and greet with me, reserved seating, and a copy of my new book signed by me. Get all the details on my St. Louis visit at 971talk.com.
Presented by NTP Cybersecurity.
Well, Tomator hasn't always been this glam. I was a drab little crab once. Now I know I can be happy as a clam because I'm beautiful, baby. Did your granny say, listen to your heart, be who you are on the inside? I need 3 words to tear her argument apart. Your granny lied. I'd rather be shiny like a treasure from a sunken pirate wreck. Scrub the deck and make it look shiny.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Oh, and here they come to the brightest thing that glitters.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. Now, this song is kind of a divider of Moana fan people. I think it's the greatest song ever. And my husband thinks it's ridiculous. So, have you heard about this stuff? If you go to 971talk.com/Annie right now, you can see the webcam. And I am holding up right now to the webcam my daughter's Halloween costume. We're going to talk about that here right now in a second. First, I want to go to take Jordan's phone call. Jordan, thank you very much for calling the Annie Frey Show.
Hi, Annie.
Hi. Yeah, if you turn your radio down and then let me know what did you want to call and talk about?
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about your last segment and the ending of your last segment.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to kind of get your rationale on this. So you said that the distraction was that the Mueller investigation had they're going to yield charges, or charges were coming down in the Mueller investigation. That was going to be the distraction to the Democratic. We're finding out that Democrats had actually something to do with Russia and in contact with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that the Mueller investigation yielding charges, since that was the big thing in Washington, wouldn't the Democrats coming out and saying, like, oh, they had contact with Russia too, wouldn't that be the distraction away from the Mueller investigation?
If I follow you correctly, what I think happened here is I think that the entire Mueller investigation was based in large part off of this dossier. So this dossier was released, and it made a lot of statements regarding Donald Trump's inappropriate relations in Russia or with Russian people or operatives or whatever it might be. So it launched an entire investigation and look into Donald Trump and all of the people who are associated around him in his orbit. And you try to figure out how he colluded with Russia. And it's all based on this dossier. Well, we find out this week that this dossier was actually created from a DNC and Hillary Clinton tied relationship that worked with foreign people to try to cultivate information that isn't proven to be true. So it's politically charged in the first place, and that's what they've been accusing Donald Trump of this entire time. So it's strange to me that they haven't been able to prove anything substantial against Donald Trump, nothing illegally or anything yet that we know of. But that what we do find out now is that it was funded by absolute 100% partisan politicians or their representatives. And then as soon as that information hits, it's like, oh, we've got charges. And again, those charges could be something that's a very unsexy charge where it's like, yeah, this person forgot to notate XYZ on some paperwork. And so it's a procedural thing, which I'm not excusing that. That doesn't mean that that's okay. But it's not proof that there was some absolutely inappropriate collusion with Russia, where Russia was able to infiltrate our election and therefore help Donald Trump get elected. Does that make sense?
Okay, I think I see where you're coming from now, and I do want to thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, sure.
I enjoy your show. I've been listening for a while. Thanks for taking my call. Have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate it. I mean, it's one of those things that we have to sit and we have to wait. But the one thing that we all have to agree on is that we cannot trust the media to do their job and to represent us because they represent their own personal interests.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Frank.
I'm doing a Cosmo quiz.
Frank,
Which Disney prince is your soulmate? Question number 1. Choose a first date spot. The amusement park, a workout class, dinner in a dimly lit restaurant, an ice cream sandwich at Sunset, or a helicopter ride to the Hamptons.
If it's at ice cream.
Ice cream sandwich at Sunset. Okay. What's the most important quality you look for in a guy? Abs? Kindness? How many Instagram followers he has? I think that's you.
Definitely.
His hair or his bank account?
It's odd that we're doing this and my husband is actually in studio with us today.
I think it's his abs.
I'm gonna go with his hair because if you knew my husband when we started dating, you know about his hair. That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe I'll post, if you go to my Facebook page at the end of the show, maybe I'll post a picture of my husband and I when we first started dating, and you can see his hair.
If a guy doesn't text you back right away, what do? Do you spam his phone with more texts until he responds? Get on with your life. He'll respond when he has a minute from blessing the world with his presence. Text with one of his friends. Call him, even though he probably won't pick up, or sext him.
Ew, no. What I would actually do is just wait and for him to text me back, but I would
get on with your life. Okay,
that's what I would actually do. It's not what I'd be thinking.
Which Kardashian Jenner sister do you identify with the
Moving
most?
on.
Kim, Kylie, Kourtney, Khloe, Kendall. You got to pick one.
I don't know anything about any of them. I don't like any of them.
Okay, I'm picking Kylie. Choose a froyo topping: condensed milk, cheesesteak cubes, mochi, or gummy bears or strawberries.
Strawberries. I don't even know what half those are.
Oh well, condensed milk.
Condensed milk on ice cream?
I don't know. Your
Don't
Disney
knock till you
prince.
My Eric.
According to Cosmo, Aladdin.
Oh.
You love his good heart.
This is proof.
No,
that
this is
Cosmo
good. This is honestly
so
good.
Stupid.
You love his good heart and his loyalty. He's the type of guy you'd want your parents to meet. Plus, think of all the free magic carpet rides you'd get to take with him.
What does that mean?
I don't know. So,
Jared in studio with me right now.
You've got a Moana dress over there.
I do.
It's a little outfit for your
small
young child. Yes,
5-year-old baby girl. Yeah.
There are problems with this dress, right? You know this.
No.
You've seen this.
I've heard
the
about
reason
it.
I was on Cosmo, I was doing some research for this story. Last year,
this is
Disney.
the reason he was on Cosmo this time.
Disney came under fire.
Wait, who was your Disney prince?
Well, I didn't. I answered your questions.
Can we find that out by the end of the show?
Probably.
Okay. I need to know.
Last year, Disney came under fire for its Maui costume, which depicted the demigod's painted brown skin, and the company ultimately pulled the costume due to the uproar, the response. And they said the team behind Moana has taken great care to respect the culture of the Pacific Islands that inspired the film, and we regret that the Maui costume has offended some. It offended people out there.
You would never want to offend anybody.
So in the original article, the writer was torn about her daughter. Her daughter had a choice between dressing as Elsa from Frozen or the title character from Moana, and she expressed concern that while the Elsa costume might reinforce notions of white privilege, dressing up as Moana is essentially cultural appropriation, the act of reducing somebody's culture to stereotypes and thereby belittling it.
Oh my gosh. Go on. It hurts more.
Oh, absolutely. It does. Now, she says you can and should strive to be better than you were 10, 20, 30 years ago, because most people's responses is, I played so-and-so on Halloween when I was a kid. Now she says, if you missed the mark when you were younger, maybe you should think about using this Halloween as an opportunity to teach your kids about the importance of cultural sensitivity.
No, wait,
if your
stop.
kid wears a racist costume, you're kind of wearing it too.
You know what? You know what Halloween is about? Halloween is about
wearing racist costumes.
For some that live very sad, sorry, depressive, I don't ever want to be around you lives. Do you know what the story of Moana is about? I'm a huge Moana fan as a mom. Moana is on in my house probably every day for a certain period of time because it makes the 18-month-old quiet. For any amount of time. She's a darling child. She's got 2 older siblings. She wants to be heard. Moana makes her less loud. Moana is a story about a young girl who is not a princess, I might add, which should make the feminists just very, very happy. Because you know what all the other Disney movies are about? Princesses, women who are in distraught despair, and they sit around on their bumps waiting for a man to come rescue them. So Moana is actually the one who says, you know what? My island is under attack by this black darkness type of thing, and I am going to go beyond the reef. I'm going to go where we haven't gone before, where my own father will not allow his men to go out. I'm going to go out past that reef, and I am going to save the island. And you know what my daughter sees? She sees a girl who saves her people because she was selfless and because she was unafraid to do it. My daughter has no idea in her mind that Moana's skin is darker than hers. My 5-year-old doesn't see that. My 5-year-old doesn't understand that a skin color on a Pacific Island girl should have anything to do with the value of who that girl is. And she also doesn't see that the skin color that she has should allow her any advantage or disadvantage that any other girl has. But morons like this person in Cosmopolitan who wrote this article for Redbook, these idiot people want to make sure that my 5-year-old daughter understands that because of the color of her skin, she is a certain kind of person, and that is bull crap.
Now, Cosmo says white girls have plenty of princesses to choose from.
Oh, my gosh!
There's Belle,
Do they
Ariel,
say that
Snow
to the
White,
young black
Sleeping
girls?
Beauty. You get the idea. No, they don't, because they say Moana is really special to young girls of Polynesian descent who have never seen a Disney princess who looks just like them. Just like how Tiana from The Princess and the Frog resonated with young black women.
So, okay, so if white girls can only be Lily White, Anna, or Elsa, are we telling black
Or
girls
Ariel.
that they can be... No, because
Snow
they're
White.
not mermaids. They don't swim in the ocean, so they don't get to be her.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty, yeah. If it works one way, it has to work both ways. You can't tell white girls that they have to do something or can't do something because of the color of their skin, but then tell little black girls or brown girls or whatever color that they get to do something or shouldn't do something because of the color of their skin. Because kids don't understand what you're trying to do there. They don't understand that you're trying to segregate people. Kids just take it on surface value, which is what I wish we would all take it on. If you tell a little white 5-year-old like mine, you can't be Moana because your skin is too light, then how do you look at her and when she asks you about seeing a black girl going out dressed up like a white princess, my daughter is going to say, well, how come her skin's not the right color to do that? So we're teaching them this. We're not teaching our children when we look at the world the way this Cosmo author is looking at the world. When we do that, we are teaching our kids to only see color and to not to see character. It's absolutely insane to think for even a moment that we should teach our children to observe these wonderful characters created by Disney outside of anything other than their accomplishments and their successes and how they got there. Because it's, as far as you know, with Disney, everything's complicated. Moana is like the only Disney character who has parents who are alive at the end of the movie. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So did you read this entire article? Because there's
yes.
one paragraph that stands out.
Read it.
And literally, after talking about The Princess and the Frog and the costumes, here's this paragraph. Our president is a hate group apologist who tries to ban refugees from seeking asylum in our country simply because of their faith. Meanwhile, black Americans continue to be killed by police, and anti-Semitic voices feel louder and more powerful than they have in decades. And then it goes back to talking about the costumes.
You know what? That's completely changed my mind. No, it has not. This is the derangement that exists in our society today. If you want to live in that world, go find a world where that is the way people live. But it is not here. It is not in my household. My daughter will not be 5 years old, happen to be white, and think that she can or cannot be a heroine from a Disney movie based on the color of the person's skin. We're going to take a break here real quick. If you want to weigh in on this, you can tweet at me at Annie Frey Show over the break. You can call us at 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797. Rebecca's holding on the line. She says she wants to talk about Moana, and she says she has a biracial daughter. I have no idea if she's going to yell at me or with me, but we're going to find out. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
My shell's too tough. My. You can try.
Talk lines are open now. 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
From the ones who abandoned you, chasing the love of these humans who made you feel wanted. You tried to be tough, but your honor's just not hard enough.
Log on to 971talk.com/Halloween and check out the Dave Glover Show Halloween page, full of audio, video, and all the great stories from paranormal investigations at 971talk.com/Halloween. Brought to you by the Wentzville Bluffs.
When we were getting ready to open the business, we shopped around a couple different banks, but when we went to Regions, they treated us the best.
The Regions Next Step project is helping a real customer, Eddie, confidently take his next step in life and in his business, Signature Granite.
In order for the business to keep growing, you have to keep investing. It took a lot of years and just working hard, but Regions never gave up on us.
Eddie's Regions banker, Stacy, helps him manage his money so he can focus on longer-term goals, like getting on track for retirement, buying new equipment, and growing his business.
We sat down and spoke with Stacy, and I explained to her what we wanted for the granite shop, and she helped us right away.
Eddie and other real customers count on their helpful Regions banker to take their next step. Ready to take your own? Regions Bank is right here in St. Louis. Call, click, or come by.
We're in a great place, and we're ready to take our next step.
Regions Bank. Member FDIC. Paid appearance by an actual Regions customer telling his real story.
Life moves fast. You just have to keep pace. Luckily for you, Jaguar St. Louis has just the thing. The new 2018 Jaguar F-Pace. This is not your ordinary SUV, offering versatility and luxury with unprecedented sport performance. It's a beast all its own. Lease it today for just $599 a month at Jaguar St. Louis of Plaza Motor Company in Creve Coeur and JaguarSt.Louis.com. $29.99 down, $599 lease for 39 months plus taxes and fees, 10,000 miles per year. Call 314-301-1700 for details.
All right, Massa's Restaurant. Been around a long, long time. 50 years, kind of like Casey in a way, and they have 5 locations. If you know anything about the restaurant business, probably the toughest business there is. You've seen restaurants that you think we're doing great, and you drive by, and all of a sudden they're a produce stand the next week. Massa's continues to grow with more locations. 5 locations. They're all over the place. They serve some of the best Italian. They serve great steaks and seafood. If you're trying to watch your weight, you can go in and get their house salad that is outstanding and make a meal out of their salad. Great pizza. Of course, everything's available to go if you want to do that too. And with 5 locations, pretty much any direction you go, you're going to find great, great food. I got an idea. A gift card will make a great idea, a great gift for someone. You know they're going to use it, and once they try it one time, they're going to be hooked just like you've been over the years. Again, there's 5 locations. The best way to find out the hours and locations is Google them. Go to Massa's, MASSA''S, Massa's. It's Massa's, of course.
Contractors, meeting with your customers can be difficult. Making time to actually sit down and go over product and color selections is tough when your suppliers close by 5 p.m. every day. Only Arrowhead Building Supply has your solution. We've built mind-blowing, beautiful showrooms that are professional and convenient. We now have new store hours until 8 p.m. weekdays and noon on Saturdays. Arrowhead has also built private contractor presentation rooms for you. These feature large LED televisions and product video libraries, so you can show your customers how products will look and what to expect. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Marvel Universe Live, Age of Heroes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Hulk, and more. Unite for a legendary battle. It's the ultimate family experience. Don't miss a single epic moment, filled with non-stop action and excitement. Marvel Universe Live, Age of Heroes. Tickets start at $20. Restrictions and charges may apply. See it live at Chaffetz Arena now through Sunday. Visit MarvelUniverseLive.com.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Brian Kilmeade with a reminder to join me each weekday morning from 9 till noon as we cover the biggest and hottest news of the day. We'll even mix in some fun. Kilmeade and Friends, weekdays at 9 a.m. on FM News Talk 97.1.
Talk lines are open now, 314-969-9797 or toll free 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Pick you up and take you from this place. Love on the weekend, love on the weekend, like only we.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. Follow me on Twitter at Annie Frey Show, Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. Comment there and post and share whatever you want to share with me during the week and give the show a rating there if you would. And also 971talk.com/Annie. We have our podcasts up there and you can get them on iTunes. And if you're not an Apple user like me, which I am not, you can go to Stitcher, which is an app for your phone, Stitcher. And you can get the Annie Frey Show podcast right there. Stitcher. Go do it. After the show. Keep listening to the show, then do that afterwards. I'm going to take a quick few phone calls here. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I wanted to get to Rebecca. Rebecca, thanks so much for listening to the show. What do you think about all this Moana stuff?
Hi, Annie. I love you. I'm never going to probably ever disagree with you. I listen to you all the time.
Great.
I am also from Illinois. I am the grandma of two biracial. My daughter calls them her biracial butterflies. They are the prettiest children I ever laid eyes on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry for everybody else's kids have to be ugly compared to my grandkids. But anyway.
Spoken like a true grandma.
I'm just joking. I loved what you were saying about Juana. I love that she is courageous and adventurous, and she's not afraid of anything. She reminds me of Dwayne Johnson. And what I love about the Samoan race of people, which I hope that doesn't sound somehow condescending. Samoan peoples are some of the hard-butt people in the world. They work really hard. They strive to be better at everything they do in their communities. That's why you are seeing so many athletes that are of Samoan background, because their culture teaches them strive and be strong and be courageous. And I think that's what makes the American culture, be it whatever background you're from, that's what makes America great, because we strove to be courageous.
Yeah, absolutely, Rebecca. Thank you so much for calling the show. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think the advice to be strong and courageous is never bad advice. And she's, my exposure to the Samoan culture happened on The Biggest Loser. I don't know how many seasons ago, and it hasn't been on lately, but they're extremely proud of their culture, and they should be. And it's a really crazy time to live in, where you have to, where when you want to compliment someone's culture, you kind of get a little nervous about it. As if saying something complimentary about a culture should be something that maybe you shouldn't do. Maybe we should just pretend that individual cultures don't exist, right? Because then nobody gets offended. That's absolutely ridiculous. I saw an article earlier this week about a mom threw a party for her daughter, and it was like a kimono Japanese celebration of culture thing, and all these Americans were freaking out about it. And then this person who was Japanese, who was actually in Japan at the time, was like, we appreciate this celebration of culture. We appreciate the fact that there are people who are recognizing our culture and they want to actually celebrate it. Jim, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What do you think?
Well, I was sitting there listening to you talk about how your daughter, could look as a person who is strong enough to go out and, save her country and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It really got me thinking about, even back in the 60s, me and my buddies, we would play Jungle Book.
Sure.
And the little boy in it, he was dark-skinned, I guess African boy. We never looked at that like that. We were always just, hey, we're in the jungle. We're swinging.
It didn't even occur to you that he was different. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Jim. That's a perfect point. Thanks for making that. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for the show.
Absolutely. I remember when I went to a Lutheran grade school, and we had a boy in our class who was black, and I think it was I went from like preschool through 8th grade. I think it was in 4th or 5th grade until I realized that he had a different color skin than me. I just didn't think like that. It didn't occur to me. You know what? The truth is that he isn't different than me. How many kids in my class had different eye color than me? How many kids in my class had different hair color than me? It was just an attribute. It wasn't a definer of a person. But these leftist Looney Tunes want to make the color of your skin the first and foremost important thing about defining who this person is as an individual, which is the most backwards way of thinking and the absolute worst message to send our children. Maybe if we all had the eyes of a little child when we looked at this, maybe that would actually contribute something to our culture. Maybe that would actually make our relationships with one another better. When you look at a Moana costume, and I'll tell you what, I want to put my daughter in her Moana costume when I go home, and I want to make her wear it until Christmas. And I want her to parade around everywhere she goes, and I want her to tell people what she loves about Moana. And not a single thing will have to do with Moana's skin color or her skin color. It will be her ability to see a wonderful person in the character that is Moana. The character. You remember back in the day when a man was fighting for civil rights and he said, let's stop paying attention to skin color and let's start paying attention to character? Well, my daughter will be Moana for Halloween, and she's already going to go to people's houses and she can say, my name is Jensen Frey. I'm from the village of Glen Carbon. You will put candy in my bag and have a happy Halloween. And she will say it with a smile, and my husband and I will pick out all of her good candy and teach her about taxes in the end. Happy Halloween. Go be who you want to be and be it proudly. Downrange, coming up next at Annie Frey Show on Twitter. Thanks for listening.
So beat the drum. AT&T has a network with thousands of best-in-class security experts helping protect from a security breach, which means more security experts like this.
I will guard the network with my life.
And less like this.
Whatever.
More customers like this.
My order's done? This network is so quick.
And less like this.
My order's not done? Your network is so slow.
More of the people threatening your network security saying this.
I can't get in!
And less of them saying this.
Yes, I can get in!
More of a highly secure network with more security products available for further protection. And less per month. That's the power of AND.
Switch to AT&T Internet for Business. You get 100 megabits per second for $40 per month when bundled. Visit att.com/smallbusinessinternet for details. AT&T Internet for Business promotion offer expires 12/31/17. 24-month promotional rate is $40 per month for 100 times 20 megabits per second dynamic.